Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. The last session we did a session on data. So what does data look like, sound like, feel like? How do we get to the data and the why of the data? So this session, we're going to really take a look at instructional technology tools. So what specific tools can we use that are interactive, that will get us to that next level, the depth of knowledge? So DOK 3 and 4, the application, the synthesis, the evaluation of information, and putting it all together, having kids be creative in their learning, not just understanding information, but also being very creative in their learning, applying the stuff, and you also using it in your classroom as an engagement tool from the teacher side, engaging parents with it, engaging community members with it. So as an admin, you can use it with your teacher meetings or your community meetings. As a teacher, you can use it in your PLC meetings, instructional time with kiddos, intervention time. So whatever specific meetings and interactions you have with people in the various roles that you guys serve. So we'll take a quick look at some pretty cool tools. But just remember, the tools really don't make the learning. The tools are an accessory. The tools are an add-on. What really makes the learning is the teacher, the excitement that you bring into the classroom, the commitment that you have, the relationships that you form with your kiddos and your staff and your families and communities. That's really what makes the teaching experience, the secret ingredients, right? So one of the ingredients is the tools, whether it's tech tools, low tech tools, analog tools. So it's just tools or just add-ons. So they just kind of spice it up a little bit. So they're the salt and pepper to the recipe, but you still have the broth, the food, all the stuff, the ingredients, the key ingredients to teaching that also goes in there. So let's take a look at a couple today. And let me add this in to our session so we can see exactly what we're going to focus on today. So we're going to try to align some of these assessments for learning. So formative instructional technology tools. So we don't want to use tools just for the sake of using tools, just to say we have instructional tech tools. They're pretty cool. The kids are engaging with them, but they don't have a purpose, right? So we really want to use these tools to have a clear purpose to what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish. And typically it's all about learning and assessment of learning and what are the outcomes that we're trying to get out of the kids. So let's dive right into it without further ado. So trying to click through. All right. So let's set the stage first. Basically, what we typically have is we have, let's start out with the end in mind, and the blue dot, the big blue dot. So usually we have the state exam at the end of the year. So one-time assessment, right? So it's just a one shot and you're done kind of deal. So usually it's in math, reading, and science. So just the EOG, EOC, end of course, end of grade kind of assessment. Or if you have an assessment at the end of semester, so end of grade. So it depends on how you run your schedules in your building at the high school levels. So end of grade, end of course, assessment's the big one. And then you have the NWA map, which we spoke about in the last session, which is three times a year is what they recommend. Sometimes schools do it twice, but 3 times is about what you really want to do to get the best out of the learning experience for the kids to see what they learned all year long. And then a previous session that we also did, we also spoke about this thing called EduElastic, using it for benchmark assessments. What are the different benchmarks that we're assessing on a bi-weekly basis? Sometimes teachers use it as a quarterly assessment, so 4 times a year maybe, but typically it's bi-weekly. Every 2 weeks is when you kind of assess the kiddos. And then we have the daily practices, so the things that we do on the day-to-day. So for the 180 days that we have the kiddos, what are they learning for 180 days? So the day-to-day stuff. Now you can use the instructional tech tools to help you assess where your kids are without taking home a whole bunch of papers and doing a whole bunch of grading. So it just kind of creates a nice temperature check for you as you move forward every single day. So by the time you get to the end, you are not surprised. So that's kind of the roadmap that we've been working off of over the past few sessions. And so today we're going to really take a look at some of the orange dots. So we're going to create some fun, formative assessment tools. I think they're fun. The kids might think they're fun, but we're also getting a whole bunch of information from the tools as far as what the kids are learning and how they're retaining the learning and how they're applying the learning. So let's start off with the first one. We're going to create Flippity. So Flippity is a nice little tool that I like, and I'm going to kind of demo some of the stuff. So we're going to walk through it and kind of figure out what's Flippity, what are all the things associated with it. How could you possibly use Flippity in your classroom? So let me share this with you. All right. It's always fun to share in live because I'm not going to function off a PowerPoint deck so much as trying to share the content with you. Flippity, there we go. All right, so here we go. So some of these are paid content, some of them are free, open source. So you just kind of have to figure out what works for you, what's worth it for you, and how that works out for you. So when you go to flippity.net, and let's make it a little bit bigger for you. There we go. So we're going to go to flippity.net. We're going to kind of show you how to use it, right? So inside of flippity.net, you can kind of do like flashcards, flex cards, show quizzes, random name picker, a randomizer, various breakout sessions, virtual breakout session, game boards, manipulatives, matching games, Connect-O games. So all sorts of things that the kids can use in here to kind of interact in the content, but also make it fun at the same time. So let's go through a couple of these. We're not going to do all of them, just a couple of them. So one of the really cool ones that I like when we talk about equity, so inside of equity, we oftentimes struggle with picking the same kid all the time to do the same task, or the kids that raise their hand, those 4 or 5 kiddos that are constantly the ones that are engaged, and maybe just because they're extroverts. So it's not that everybody else is not engaged. You just have the extroverts who are really hyper engaged in the course. So let's go ahead and click on demo real quick. Let's demo it first. So each one of these have a demo to it before you just jump in. So here's a demo class that it's pretty cool. So it's basically you just import your kid names, or you can add a single name, groups of names, and so forth. And here's your Flippity spinner. And it will just randomize, pick a kid. It happens to land on Jack. Then it spins it again. Randomize Spencer. It's your turn. And randomize. So now we don't get into the stereotypical bias towards specific kids that we all gravitate towards as instructors. So we have an implicit bias as well. So we just kind of gravitate towards kids who have maybe a personality trait that we like, or that that resonates with us. So we use Flippity as a randomizer for kiddos in their participation. And now the kids also see that this is a randomizer, that you're not picking on them or anything like that. So that's pretty cool. And so you can go into the single name, and we can just go through. It randomly clicks into the single names just like that. It just randomly picks a name. And they also have the lineup. That. And then we could also put the kids into groups of 2. So if they're doing group work, you can randomize the groups, right? Because usually when we say get into groups, the kids pick their groups. Then they find, hey, this is my group. I've worked the same kids all the time. Now I can say put them in groups of 3. Okay, so if I put groups of 2, we got one single kiddo right here. But if we go groups of 3, now it balances out for us, and we can switch it up. Just hit the randomizer, switch it up. So yesterday's group was this. Now we can get this. So now kids can share ideas and experiences with each other in various groups. And obviously we can go groups of 5. We can go 2 teams. So if we want to randomize 2 teams, and then obviously 3 teams and so forth. So we have a good randomizer. And then sometimes, in your classroom, you might have a seating chart. So you can just create a random seating chart and switch it up, mix it up. You can do this every week, daily, monthly, quarterly, whatever works best for you in your setting. So I really like that component of Flippity. Let's go back. And here is another randomizer. And then all of these have instructions with them. So it tells you exactly how to import the names and how to get started. And so here is another pretty cool randomizer that I like, where you can put the different topics in, and you can use this as a writing example. So today, the key character is Luke Skywalker. Had a skateboard accident, but tomorrow the ice planet Hoth. So Luke Skywalker, a skateboard accident, tomorrow the ice planet Hoth. And now the kids have to create a 1 paragraph or 2 paragraph or 4 paragraph essay about these topic areas. So you use these stems to create a writing experience for the kiddos. And then you can just randomize it again. How cool is that? And based on whatever content you're studying, or land on Luke there, let's switch it up. There we go. So based on whatever content you're studying, you can go in and add these in there. And if you're using science, math, English, whatever it is, you can add the content in here, those stems. And now kids can use this as the application of learning, as they are thinking about things and writing things out and really exploring the various options that's available for them. I'm gonna go back. And let's take a look at the manipulatives here. And once again, so for the littles, you have these drag and drop to kind of create different little sentences and without typing. And you can insert the content and the words. So now kids can create sentences as they go. So this is totally up to you as far as what you want to put in here as far as the content. And like I said, there's instructions with each one of these options. And then this is one of my favorites too. So remember the old tile matching games? So it's just a quick way for kids to think and remember things. Good little games. This is a good little brain exercise or brain break if you want to take a brain break in class. See, I'm getting close. Let's see. I haven't had that yet. Yeah. So you have to kind of open them all up to see where they are. Ah, there's orange. Nope. So I am going through these. So what you could do is you could put in your academic content terms And so they're matching terms, and they can also match definitions. So you can put definitions in there. So it's a great way to start building vocabulary and recalling vocabulary that you've covered already inside of the content. So instead of writing out the word and then writing out the definition, you can, as the teacher, you can insert those words and definitions in there and create a Flippity matching game, and they can match the cards in there as a quick recall of information. Okay. And so then you have crossword puzzles, you have bingo, and I really like this timeline. So you have a timeline where you can come in here and create a timeline, and then you insert the information into the timeline. So the kids can come and create a timeline based on the information that you covered. So if you're doing science and we're doing plant biology, and there is some historical context in that lesson, so the kids can come in and create a timeline. Or social studies, obviously, is a good one. ELA, there's also a good one. You can create a timeline without the dates. And so you can create a timeline for the sequence of the story itself and the details for that story. So the kids can create a timeline doing it that way. So it's a vertical articulation of the sequence of events. And now the students are putting out a scope and sequence of their learning. So I really like that timeline concept as well. And there's instructions, obviously, that goes with that to show you how to use that. So Flippity has all of these cool things that you can use throughout the school year, throughout your lessons, just ways of creating a fun learning experience. And it's just not all recall either. So it's the application of learning. So that's how we close the gaps. That's how we get to equity. It's about the application of learning. All right. So let's go to the next one. All right. So the next one is this concept of poll everywhere. Poll everywhere. So we want to make sure that we create a learning experience to where kids are kind of engaged. And let's take a look at poll everywhere. So here's poll everywhere, and I think poll everywhere has some free components to it, but it's definitely a component where you can also pay. So there's also some free ones where, and I love their headline where you're creating classroom discussion without anxiety, right? And so we're talking about equity. We want everybody's voice included, but sometimes it becomes an anxious driven conversation, or some kiddos just don't like the discussion itself because it creates angst in them, and it doesn't matter the topic of the discussion. It's just the process of the discussion might create a level of angst. All right, so we can come in here so I'm already signed in. So basically I sign in, you sign in with like your Google account or something. Dismiss this. All right, so you can come in and it will automatically assign you your own personalized URL, and then you can edit it and customize it and change it to what you want it to be. There's some support centers. So if you have questions about how to use the product, and then there are upgrades that you can obviously, it seems like you can pay for. And then there are activities. So once you click on activities, you can come in and let me hit ask later. You can come in and start to create your activities. And when we say start to create the activities, I already have one created there, so it keeps track of your activities. And so I'm going to hit activity. And this is what I have. So I can create multiple choice questions, and I'll have a QR code at the end where the kids can either scan the QR code, or you'll give them a link where they join and they can go in and answer these questions. So I can come in and create a multiple choice question like the Earth is, okay? And here's what I like about it as well. So it has these accommodations, very inclusive. So now I can also add an image that represents the question. So for the littles or for kiddos who struggling readers, you can add an image. So it's also the decoding skills that they're using and the inference skills. And instead of having a question or answer that is an image, you can also add a text, or you can add a URL to a video. So now the kiddos can see their choices either in video format or in text or as an image. So you just click upload image, and then you choose your image that you want to upload. So let's say blue, brown. You can add another green. Oops, hard to type on this thing. So green. And then you can move your answer choices around if you so choose. And then you select the correct answer. And it could be all of them if you want it to be, or it could just be two. So you decide what the correct answer is, and you can go from there. Okay. And if you have more than one correct answer, obviously you have to preface with the scholars to say there's more than one correct answer possible. Okay. Because kids just automatically assume multiple choice is just one answer. All right. So how cool is that? So you get to build that in and share that with your students. And then there's the other one where there's a word cloud. And so now you can say, okay, here's the title or the prompt, and we can go ahead and add a word cloud in. And also we can add an image that represents the title, and then the kiddos get it and they will type in their response, but the word cloud will generate the common words that the audience is using. So it really helps the kids to visualize their answers, to see where everybody is, so to speak. And then there's the Q&A. So basically you just say thumbs up, thumbs down. This is the Q&A, and this one is one that I really like as well. So you have this clickable image. So this is also a really cool one for the poll everywhere. So you can do this as an entrance to your classroom. So I'm going to click on the poll everywhere as a kid coming in. The code's on the board or on my Google Classroom or my LMS or wherever you host your stuff. And then I can just do a quick assessment as to how kiddos are feeling today. So they can give me a quick smiley emojis, frowning emoji, green, whatever the thing is, right? And they can just give me a quick, this is how I'm feeling today. So it gives you as the teacher a generalized concept of how your kids are and where they are in that moment when they enter your classroom. So we talk about social emotional learning. This is a great opportunity to engage kids and for them to share where they are, because we want to build these relationships. Like I said, it's all about building the relationships. So we want to build these relationships and have an opportunity for kids to share their feelings in a quick, easy manner that's safe. And that also allows you as the teacher to have some understanding when you're engaging with the kids in the content. If a kid is in the red or the orange, you kind of take a different approach to them. The kids in the green, take a different approach. Yellow, you take whatever approach. So you have a better read of your students when they enter the classroom. And there's also a survey component. So the kids can also have their own accounts and create their own surveys and create a 5-question survey and share it with their communities, share it with other classes, share it with their classmates, and kind of generate their own surveys. And now they have their own data set. And then there's also a open-ended question component, which is something that's really cool, because now you allow people to expand. Instead of having forced answers, they expand their knowledge, expand their answers, and they have an opportunity to really think things out and put things in long form writing, that is. And so you put the title in there, and then you can also add or upload an image. And obviously there's a competition, and this is pretty cool because the kids are kind of competing against each other and earning some points. And so here's like some more. So you have a donut chart, icebreakers, upvote leaderboard. There's an emotional scale. So when you want to do an icebreaker, beginning of the semester, beginning of the quarter, or the beginning of every week, right? Icebreaker shouldn't just be a 1 or 2 times a year thing. And if you want to have teams that are assigned to different things, so you can add different teams in there of kiddos, and then you can have the task in there with the image or URL. You can have a ranking system, and you can also use this map component, which is pretty cool. So they can select on the map. And then there's the bulletin board and a matrix, so a 2x2 matrix, something like this, right? So this is for whether you're in math or science, any kind of concept, even with the NWA data that we spoke about in the last session, you can use that as an interactive tool now. So that's pretty cool how you can use Poll Everywhere for different things. And it's basically about not just assessing the kids, but the ability for them to create their own assessment process as well. And then you can share it out with the kiddos. The data is shareable. But I think this one, you get some free stuff for K-12 folks. You get a lot of free goodies, but there are also, I think, some upcharge stuff if you want some premium items as well. So it's totally up to y'all as to how you do it, but you're definitely trying to get student voice and a check for understanding using this tool. And here's a fairly new one. It's called Mote. It's really cool. And let's go and take a look at this one. All right. Let's share. Hold on one second. My slide deck didn't change over. Uh-oh. That's the beauty of going live. I just showed you a demo of Poll Everywhere, but the slide deck didn't change over. So sorry about that. Let's go back. So let me go back. The entire time I was talking to you guys and sharing my screen, it didn't change over. So sorry about that. But I'm going to take you back to Poll Everywhere. So that way, there we go. So that way you can at least see the Poll Everywhere that did not change over. So now you at least have some reference as to what Poll Everywhere looks like when you go to it. And you'll have the audio component of me walking you through it when you create your own account. But you won't have the video because it didn't switch over for some reason or another. So I'm glad I caught that now rather than go through the entire thing and none of them have switched over. But that's all part of it, right? So that's like being in the classroom. Things happen. But we just keep moving and try our best as we go forward. All right, so let's go to Mote. Let's make sure that that one actually shares. And we'll share that one. There we go. Awesome. All right, so the other tool that we have, it's basically like a voice recording tool. So the ability to add your voice into different things. So typically teachers use this for, you can add Mote into your Google Docs. You can add it into your slide deck. You can add it into your Sheets or Google Forms, I'm sorry. So it's a way to create audio interaction with your audience, and a way for the audience also to create their learning interaction using an audio component, right? So you can record audio messages, and you can also like insert this into your emails, which is pretty cool. So lots of people have in their email, you have maybe your stamped signature at the bottom, contact information, that kind of stuff. But now you can add an audio component in there. And you can also email the audio as well. So if you want to, sometimes when we email things, it gets lost in translation because the text is so flat. So now you can email a audio for somebody to listen to instead of reading the component. So for you struggling readers, once again, in your class, instead of emailing the assignment, you can also create an audio recording for them that kind of goes through the assignment or walks them through the assignment. And the kids love listening to the voices of their teachers. So it's somebody that they know versus a computer AI that's out there. So this is how it works. I can create these audios by going to recording, and then I can also import the audio into my Google Forms, and you can see a timeline when it was done and how long it is. And I think you have up to 5 minutes of audio. And this is all free. The free account, I believe you get up to a certain amount of recordings per month. And then there is the paid account, which is unlimited recordings per month. So you just kind of have to figure out what works best for you. I use this not as my go-to, but as a supplement. So it's every now and then for various things that I use it for. So let's go into, I'm going to try to open up a Google Doc here real quick. Let's see if this works. I'm going to try a new doc. Let's make a letter. All right, so I'm going to try to share that with you. And boom. All right, so with Mote, you can also add it into your web browser and into your extension. So you can make it as an extension. And so it's inside of your options of extensions or add-ons. And let me share with you my doc, because what I don't want to do is, there we go. So I'm going to share with you my doc that I just created. Share screen. And this is just a sample Google Doc letter that I just pulled up real quick. So here's like a letter and typical stuff that you guys see in your Google Docs. So let's say this is a letter that a kid wrote or a sample that you all are going through. And if you hover on the right-hand side, obviously right here, you can add a comment. So I can come in here, I can add a comment, and I can add, some kind of a text comment, maybe like that. And so now the kiddos can read my text. But if you're serving, 120 kids a day, like at the high school, middle school, or if you're, serving your elementary kiddos all day long, is a lot of information to have to type in there and feedback to give. What I really like about this product is instead of coming in to add a comment like that, click add a comment. Now I can just click on the add-on and it will be an audio comment. And I have the free version, so it tells me I have 20 remaining comments that I can provide using the free version, right? So now you can see how fast that's going to go if you have an entire class that you want to give comments to with the free version. So if I click on it, I have up to 5 minutes and it automatically starts recording. And now I can give a little bit more depth of a review for that kiddo. Very nice job. Your name, city, the CEO company name needs to be included in there, and any town, street, and so forth. Dear Mrs. Reader should be Dear Mr. Reader, because you're addressing this to the gentleman at the company. And then I just hit complete. And what it does for the learner is it says, click here to hear my voice note. So that the learner will go to the link and open up the link. And let's go to the link. I'm going to go to the link. I'm going to copy that. Go to a new tab. So let me share that with you as well so you can see it. So I open up that link by going to a new tab. Let me share that screen with you. let's see. There it is. So I'm share that screen. So that link is right here, and the kiddo will get it and see it, and they'll hit click on it. I have up to 5 minutes, and it automatically starts recording. And now I can give a little bit more depth of a review for that kiddo. Very nice job, your name, city. So I really like that feature. So you can really provide some feedback for the kiddos. And if you have any additional items that you want to put into a transcript, you can do it there as well. And now I can go back into my activity. And it provides me with a log of all my activities that I've had with the product. So that's pretty cool. And so I really like that a lot. So this is just a great way for you to use this. And then let's say there was something that was really great that a kiddo did and you give a lot of feedback to and you want to share it with the entire class, you can just hit share, and then send it into your LMS, your Google Classroom, whatever it is. So feedback is important. So this is a really cool tool. So you can play around with it, tinker around with it. There are so many more other ways to use it. And I'm just kind of giving you a brief overview as one of the ways that you can use this one. All right. So let's go on to the next one. All right. Let's see. So that's a great way for you to check for understanding and use student voice to enhance the learning experience. And so now let's go into a little bit of creativity and application of learning through this other thing called ThingLink. So ThingLink's been around for a while, caught some traction, but didn't get all the traction that it should. But I really like ThingLink. I really like ThingLink because it and multiple modalities and multiple content components to create a clear picture about what you're doing, and you're really creating a clear and vibrant picture. So let's take a look at ThingLink real quick and share it. There we go. And so ThingLink is free, and you just use your Google account to log in or create an account, and you kind of just log in. And then you have all of your content that's in here. And basically what you do is you take an image, you take a picture, and then you can add content on top of the picture. So something like this. So here's the picture that I have. Let's take a look at it. I don't know if I have content on top of this one or not. Yep. So here's the picture that I have, and I can, they'll get the picture, but they'll also get these little dots that I added on there. And then inside of the dots, when you click on the dot itself, it takes you to whatever link is in there. That's why they call it ThingLink, right? So now it takes you to this link, which is a YouTube video, it looks like. And once you go inside of the YouTube video, it opens it up. So it takes you to content. So imagine building this out where you have a picture with different learning tasks on it. And then the kids click on it and it takes them to that content to either learn about it or to engage in a process. And then the other side of it is, the flip side is, the kids, you give them a picture and then you tell them to start building the content. What is it about this person that we know? Then they go do research on that person and they can start building content and adding content all the way around just about this individual. So I really like this process. And then obviously you can share back to your Google Classroom LMS, turn it in for your work, share it on social and so forth. Let's go back. Once again, just you can use it as an informational graph as well, how to explain things, right? So here's one that I use, how to use Wakelet, right? So Wakelet is a bookmarking tool. And so how to save a link in Wakelet. So you just go in here, and then there's the video that tells the user how to use Wakelet as the bookmarking tool. And you just keep going through. And this is, so for each step, you can add different things in, different layers in, that explains something along a timeline or along a user line. So this is a pretty cool way to do it. And here's another example. Let's see here. Let's do this one. I think I used this one. Yeah. So this was like information for Google for Education for teachers that I ran through, right? And so they were able to personalize their experience with Google for Education and earn grad credit for it. And then I gave them the directions and examples on how to do it right there. So they click on it, they see the examples and the directions as interactive tools. Let's do one more. And this is probably one of my favorites. Let's see here. Here we go. This is one of my favorites. So when we talk about innovation design inside of the classroom and working with kids, working with teachers, and we were in the classroom, we also tell teachers, okay, well, let's work on our engagement. What does engagement look like for learning? And then we have a video or informational piece that talks about engagement for learning, and it gives very great details on how to increase the graduation rates, right? When we talk about pedagogy, here is a video of a teacher talking about how she uses pedagogy in her classroom at the K-12 level. And instructional tech, there's a video of evidence of scholars using instructional tech. Personalized PD, what does personalized PD look like, sound like, feel like for teachers in that building? So here's a comprehensive innovation design, and now it allows the learner not just to see the flat text, but also see dynamic visuals that go with that text that help support that. And kids can build this out themselves as well. So they can build out let's say, for instance, this is a storybook, and they can build out the key characteristics of the story, the characters, the theme and plot, and then the summary and sequence. So, I mean, it is just amazing how they can use this tool. And let's go into one last one. I don't know if I have this is a good one. And this is a good one. I have so many good ones though. So here's a math one. So using math, right? One of the things that we talk about is our scope and sequence in our math classes. So what does the scope and sequence look like in our curriculum? So this is, for instance, like a 7th grade scope and sequence. And these are the tested items that they have to teach in the amount of days that they have to do it. So it just gives them a broad outline. But then there is a video of the teacher talking about each component, about how she's using this timeline to help guide the learning for her kiddos. And then there is whatever your resources that you're using to help with your content and your curriculum. Now you can add a link to that resource that helps explain to the teachers how to use that content for each specific component. So I really like that one, and I created that one in the early years. Look at that. It's about 7 years ago. So I created that one in the early years of ThingLink. So it's been around for a while. It's a proven tool. It's something that really has lasted the test of time. So I love that. And then here is my last one. I thought this one was pretty cool. So you create all these dots, right? This is the school connected leader. And then I create the dots that has all of these leadership components to it. And it walks them through some of the key components of being a connected school leader. And they can just look at the different videos and get different ideas and click on the red dots. So I really like that. So that's one of my favorites, as you can tell. I really like it. I think it provides some good interaction for the kiddos. All right. So let's go back to the slide deck. Like I said, we're not going to have a whole bunch of slides. It's going to be more going through the tools to kind of take a look at them all. All right. And then Screencast-O-Matic. I really like Screencast-O-Matic because now we're talking about creating video. So the creativity and application of learning. So Screencast-O-Matic, let's take a look at that one as well. And let's see here. So this might be a little bit tricky because I have my camera open and I'm going to open up another camera as well inside of the same camera. So we'll see what happens. Nothing like going live. It's all good. All right, so Screencast-O-Matic. Here we go. All right. So here we are inside of Screencast-O-Matic. And basically you log in, create your account. There's a premium version. I think it's like $30 for the year, something like that. But it's definitely well worth it. As you can see right here in my own personal account, I have up to 115 videos. And so you can create all sorts of instructional videos. So imagine if you create different instructional videos for your kiddos as part of the content, and those videos are at the station. So you become your own Khan Academy, basically, right? But so something like this. So I can come in and create a video. And I think I created one about Edge Elastic, right? So an overview on how to use Edge Elastic as one of our assessment tools. And there's the video, and I can share it, and I can look at the analytics, how many kiddos actually saw the video, and I can download the video. I can send it to the video editor. So if I want to edit the video out a little bit, if I'm not happy with just the one take, I can edit it out. I can duplicate the video, and then I can also replace this video. So I created the video, it didn't get a lot of traction, but I don't want to overhaul it. So I just want to replace it. So I can replace this video in the same link. That way I don't have to send out a different link to folks. So I can replace the video as we go, or I can delete it. So very cool tool. Lots of content in it that you can build. Go back into my 115 videos that I have. So, you know, just a video on how to become a proctor for a test. We all have state testing. So here's the map that we spoke about in the previous session. There's a proctoring component. So here's the video walking people through how to be a proctor for the test. So all the adults in the building have clarity. So instead of having a meeting, we create the video, hit share, and the video goes out to everybody. And then we can look at the analytics to see how many people opened it, how long they stayed on it, and we can go from there. And so that's like the primer. And then the folks who didn't understand the video, we provide an additional in-person meeting. So it's like the intervention kind of thing, small group. So we provide small group meetings for the proctors, but the folks who understand the proctoring process, have been through it, it's a good refresher. They don't have to sit through a meeting after school for an hour. So it's really a good way to be more efficient, right? And I even have like instructional videos on how to curate. Let's go to preview. So you can go to preview. Here's a great way to use Wakelet for your kid's sports. So whatever sport your kid is into, you can use Wakelet Spaces. And I love the fact that you can close that out. On the videos, when you create the video, it has the cursor that's yellow. So now the learners can follow along with the cursor in yellow. You can highlight things. You can scale things out. You can scale things in. You can blur things out as well. You can blur data out if you want to. So I really use this for various things to explain stuff, right? So it's the deeper learning, application of learning, and really explaining stuff to teachers. And then think about it from the kids side. So the kids can now explain stuff. So there's a free account. There's a free version for this. So kids can really explain their learning and explain what they're going through. So for instance, here's a Black History Month tutorial that I did last year with the school. and show them how the kids can go in and find their Black History Month projects and go in and create videos out of them. So instead of just having the poster boards or papers that are hanging from the door, from the walls, now they have interactive video that they can create. So it's all sorts of things that you can use Screencast-O-Matic for, and I've been using this for probably 8 years now or so, religiously too. I have 115 videos. And I love sending the videos. We use this throughout the pandemic when we're remote learning, and the ability to share and copy links and put them into our LMS was critical. So Screencast-O-Matic is it for me. I can add images, organize my 115 videos into folders and themes if I want. I can showcase the channel if I want. So it's just it's very cool tool. I can look at the analytics. I can look at how my videos are getting viewed, the rates that they're getting viewed, all the kind of good stuff. But if analytics is not your thing, no worries. Just gives you an idea as to how folks are engaging with your videos and your content. So I'm gonna hit stop share. There we go. All right. So that is the presentation. Just some cool tools to use, some cool things to think about. But it's all about playing with them, right? And giving you exposure to those, because we want to make sure that you are championing your kiddos out there. But first, be your own champion by championing yourself. So you go out and you learn these things and you tinker around with them a little bit. And then once you get comfortable with it, you introduce it to the kiddos in the class and let them get comfortable with it. And then they take it to demonstrate their learning and understanding of the content and the application. So that is the presentation for today. Just some quick tools that we ran through just so that you can see them. And I didn't want to give you a big, long power deck with step-by-step directions and information. And so I figured let's just go directly to the tool and play around with it, tinker with it so you can see it and visualize it. And then later on, you can use it at your discretion. So continue to provide your kids with access, equitable access, basically meeting the kids where they are, regardless of where they come from, what zip code they come from, who their parents are. They don't get to choose that. They don't get to choose the communities that they grow up in because they're with the family. So we take the kids as they are when they come to the doorstep, as every great teacher knows, and we give them what they need or what they want at the moment in time that we have them. And it changes day to day, hour to hour. And if you're in the middle school, it changes every 3 minutes. But that's just part of what we sign up for and part of what we love to do. We want to help kids to get the best that they can possibly have. So I want to thank the Department of Education, Kentucky Department of Education, KDE, Dr. Thomas Woods Tucker and his entire staff for providing the series. I'm Dr. Randall Sampson. And when you do these back-to-back series and you jump into the next one, you kind of forget to introduce yourself at the beginning because you're so into the next one already. So I'm Dr. Randall Sampson, and this series of Capture, Curate, Share is great because now you can capture the learning and action, curate it, and then share it out with your colleagues, with people that you care about, people that you work with, community members, parents, because that's what it's all about. We want to make our learning a little bit more visible. And when learning is a little bit more visible, we become more accountable. And when we become more accountable, people respect the work that we do. They have clarity about the work that we do. It's not easy. It's hard work. It's very hard work. So we just want to show folks our very good stuff that we're doing, and so that they can respect that as well. So thank you so much, Kentucky Department of Education, for this series, as it serves as an enhancer and a supplement for the great equity series that you're building with the Equity Playbook. So and equity is all about just giving kids what they want, giving the kids what they deserve. They deserve our very best, and without people putting any preconditions on it. It's basically a teacher showing up and doing the stuff that we've always done. Just continue to be great people towards our kiddos. All right, everybody. See you next time. Thank you so much. Have yourself a fabulous day.